We tried to escape. Friends of mine, one from Belgium, a few Frenchmen. We went hiding in an attic in a barrack because we knew the Russians were close. The streets were clogged up, the highways clogged up with German refugees from the eastern countries going to try to get away from the Russians. So we did climb in an attic, and we had a little stool to get up there, and then we pulled the stool up inside, closed the trap, and we sat there and we waited. And we thought the camp was empty, and pretty soon we hear some new footsteps. We thought, oh, the Russian must be here already. We got down there to greet them, and here came all the inmates and the German guards all came back because the roads were so blocked they couldn't make it. And then about a day later, they tried again, and we went through a trail in a forest, more or less. And it was along a little stream, and we only had one guard, and we were about 50, and one guard with a dog, and he was an old-timer with a porcelain pipe there. He could work, we worked better than he could. He was a veteran from First World War, what they call the Landsturm. And we noticed that he was busy at another end of our section there. We just jumped over the stream, and the dog took a sniff, but he didn't smell anything. He whistled for the dog, and the dog went with him. They kept on going, and then we were behind bushes, and so then we walked to it, and we found in an asparagus field, we found this barn, and so we went hiding in the loft. There was a ladder laying there. We climbed in the barn, and with our bad luck, the barn became the headquarters of a German anti-tank division they dug in on one side, and there was a little hill, and the Russian tanks, which were actually Lend-Lease American tanks, they were Sherman tanks. They came up, fired, and then went back behind the hill. And so we were caught in a raging battle for about 24 hours. That's when I got we were sitting in a circle, and one shell went through the roof, blew up the tiles, went through the floor of the thing right through there, and blew up underneath. Now it had a delayed action thing, otherwise I wouldn't be here either. If it had blown up at the roof and that location, or the floor, we would have just gone in all directions. But anyhow, we went up in the air, and I wound up with splinters up my ass. And so did the other guys, more or less too. I had a few shrapnels in the bladder and so on, and somewhere in the intestine. And I had removed in 53, 54, 55, I had things removed. Now I would light up. I couldn't get on an airplane with all that metal in my ass. Anyhow, so, and then there came a second shell, and there was a steamer trunk, and we had tried to open it. We sat there for about 3 days before the battle really started. We had a few raw potatoes, and we found a bottle of wine that somebody had hidden, but it was vinegar, but better than nothing. But we tried to open that trunk, and we didn't know what was in it. It was full of silverware. The Nazis had stolen it, mostly in Holland, I found out later on, silverware. The shell went in there, and suddenly you looked, and there were knives and forks on all the rafters, and I had one fork that went in my hip bone. I still have the scar. So that was lucky coincidences.
One more lucky coincidence.
Yeah, one more lucky coincidence. I actually still have the silver at home. I carried the whole knapsack with it.